Hey guys, Tarke here, and today's video is going to be all about optimizing the fun out of Path of Exile. This is sort of a follow-on from a previous video. This is mostly inspired by a conversation I had very recently with the Dungeon Master from my D&D group. So we were ready for the game. One of our members was running late on Discord, so we just started chatting about Path of Exile because he also plays Path of Exile. And he was quite dejected about the league, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. I've been really enjoying it. But like, what's your main issue? And his whole gripe was that he thought, or he feels anyway, that the most profitable way for him to play the game isn't to be doing the high-tier maps that he normally runs, but to make a zoomy character and just farm quarry and low white maps. And that really bummed him out, because he's usually someone who really likes to push the end game. And we had a big conversation about whether or not that really was the most profitable way. For the record, I don't think it is, but that's beside the point. That's what he decided was the most profitable thing for him. So he felt compelled that he had to stop doing content he enjoyed primarily to make a new character so he could be more optimal doing content he enjoyed significantly less. Now, it's very easy to just say, well, you're being stupid, you're not having fun, you should be doing what you want to be, like, you should be doing what you find most fun. But in ARPGs, MMOs, that whole like genre, it's very easy to become obsessed with being optimal. Because if you know there is something that you perceive to be more efficient or more optimal, and you know that you're not doing it, in the back of your head, you're saying, I am wasting time. And, you know, time is very precious. And especially if you're, you might be having more fun, but you're seeing less rewards than you feel like you should be getting, then that like nagging thought will really start hammering at you. And that's very easy to do in Path of Exile, where, you know, this is a game that's all about RNG. So you could be doing actually very rewarding content, you get a bad RNG streak for a couple of days, couple of weeks even, and you're not seeing anything good, and you hear rumors of like, oh, there's this amazing strategy where I can farm low tier maps, or I can farm quarry, and instantly I'm going to make all this currency. You go do it, and at that point you're just going to commit to it. And then if you know, spend all this time and you don't get the rewards, you then get the whole like sunken cost fallacy. That's a whole separate thing. But it's just, it goes to show like how easy it is to become overly obsessed with being optimal. And I feel like there's a fine line to it, since I'm someone who actually enjoys like fine-tuning builds, trying to make the most optimal choices. I enjoy setting up my atlases in a certain way. Like, there is fun to be had there, but that is a niche. Like, not everyone enjoys that, and the level to which as well. Like, there's content I purposely don't do when it comes to the way I set up my atlas, which I know is less rewarding from a monetary point of view. Obviously, it's different because I play SSF, but like, I know it's the correct thing to do, and I'll choose not to do it because I don't enjoy that content as much. And when you have a game which is built all around build guides, PoE Ninja, Path of Building, random builds making it onto Reddit, your favorite YouTubers putting out new build guides, it's incredibly easy that when a build isn't quite going right, to just abandon it and start again from scratch and go through the axe. Now, that's fine if you're an experienced player who enjoys leveling, can level quickly, and you have a good, you know, stack of currency in your stash. But, and I've been in this place before, like going back, especially back when I used to play hardcore trade, when I was kind of new to Path of Exile, I didn't really know I was doing that much. You know, I would open up my stash and I would see like 2 chaos, maybe an exalt if I'm lucky, and my current build, it's sort of doing okay, but it's not quite performing. And I'm like, okay, should I invest my currency into my current build, which is sort of working, or should I throw all of my currency into some random build guide that I saw on YouTube, which probably isn't even that good, and it's just cherry-picked information which has been edited down, and the guy's actually got like mirror tier gear. But besides all that, yeah, sod it, let's do that. That's the smart thing to do. So you throw the little currency you have into this new build, you roll it up, you get to maps, and then, oh, it's not quite landing right. What should I do? What's that? There's this super efficient MF build, or there's this super strategy. Right, quick scrounge what we can. Like, it's so easy to do. At the end of the day, we play games to have fun. It's slightly different if you're in, you know, my shoes and you're a content creator, and there's the whole financial thing, but most people watching this aren't content creators. But you should be playing games to be having fun, be it a social experience, a solo experience, or whatever. If you're someone who enjoys trading, focus on that. Great. If you don't enjoy that aspect of Path of Exile, ignore it. I have a few Patreons of mine. I do Patreon build reviews. You're welcome to sign up, by the way, who are notoriously bad for this situation. So they'll send me a message like, hey, Tarke, I'm playing this build. I'm really enjoying it. Do you mind just like fine-tuning the POB a bit? And I'll be like, yep, no worries, dude. They'll send it to me, and I'll be like, oh, this seems like a really cool build. So I'll fine-tune it a little bit. And then I'll be like, oh, I kind of want to play something like that. That sounds really fun. So then I'll do my own version of the build. Maybe I'll do it on a different ascendancy, or I'll use like a different item or something. And then I'll get a message from the person who sent me the original thing, like a few weeks later, like, oh, dude, your version seems so much better than mine. I scrapped my character, and I've started again. And it's like, oh, why did you do that? Keeping in mind their previous version worked, was clearing the content, and they loved it weeks before. And like, oh, well, it's just like, obviously yours was better. And it's like, no, like, you were having fun. Like, it's like the whole harvesting. Like, people are really obsessed about, oh, they must have the best thing. You can run so much of Path of Exile with nothing. SSF is the ultimate example of this. If you are someone who hasn't got loads of currency in your stash and you do want to be like looking for inspiration, please only look to solo self-found PvE Ninja profiles, solo self-found content creators, because at least there's some level of limitation and realistic, like it's quite easy to copy one-to-one. But yeah, it's just, it's frustrating. It reminds me a lot of back when I used to play World of Warcraft. And it becomes slightly more complicated in group games, because in a group game, there's like a social responsibility where you feel like if you're being suboptimal, you're letting other people down. And this was something that I used to battle with a little bit, because I used to raid lead in multiple different expansions, or I was just like in guilds and like, oh, we're trying to make mythic progress and we're like struggling on it. And it's a case of, you know, half of the guild is like amazing like world first players, like absolutely pog DPS. The other half are just like casual, just raid logging, playing once a week, just playing specs they find fun. And you get that disconnect, right? And it can get really toxic, and the people who are just raid logging end up quitting the guild, and there's all this drama. And to be honest, those guys, they were the guys playing the game correctly, right? Because they were just having fun. The guys who are stressing out, like getting into arguments and like, oh, you're terrible because you're spec'd wrong. And it's like, what are we doing with our lives? I don't know. Basically, yeah, Sean, that's my DM. If you're watching this and you are running white maps and you're not having fun, please go back to your other build. Just like buy some super rippy inscribed ultimatums. Run some juiced up like Awaken a 9 stuff. Go like do some delirious maps. Like just have fun. I don't know. Just have fun playing PoE. I've had this issue a little bit actually with my raiders. This has probably been my example of it this league. So this is my first character made of the league. It's a raider trapper. It's been a few different variants of traps. It's been lightning trap, arc trap. I'm currently using ice traps on it. I'm just like respecking it every now and again, swapping my gear around whenever I feel like a bit of a change of pace. Leveled it as Corsair carrier, and this has been one of the best league start builds I've ever made. It's amazing at the league mechanic. It's super fast. It's super defensive despite only having 5.5k life. I never get hit. I can zoom through everything. The best part about the build is it's got 103 movement speed with nothing active. So I can go to town and I can flex on noobs. And I can go to the vendor and get out before someone's like crawled along if my loading screen allows. But yeah, I can be like, woohoo, look at me, I'm quick. You know, it's great. I love this build. But what will happen is I'll have a random item drop, or I will be watching another streamer and we'll start chatting about builds. And I'm like, oh, that seems like a really fun idea. So I'll stop playing the character that I'm enjoying playing. I'll stop playing the character that I'm having fun progressing with, one of the best league styles I've ever played, to then level up, you know, some random build that I'm not really that sure about, but just kind of like, oh, that could maybe be fun. And then I'll get it through to maps. I'll run like one map and I'm like, this doesn't map as well as my other character. And then I'll log back and I'll, you know, do a bunch of tier 16 maps and I'll play for a couple of days. And I'm like, oh, I don't know why I was so stupid. Why would I ever like play another build. And then I'll, be watching someone and a really cool item will drop, and I'm like, ooh. Well, the problem I had with my Saboteur is it wasn't a Raider, and I just got some really good course to carry gear. So let's do a course to carry Raider, right? Because, Raider, it will still be fun. And I get it to maps, and then it's like, I really enjoyed my trap build, so then I'll get back on my trap build. Then at this point, I got a 6-link Searing Touch randomly. That was slightly different because it was like RSI related. I wanted to play a build with less buttons. So I started leveling this up, and then I'm like, no, I want to play trap. So what did I do to make my trap build have less buttons? I changed from Arc and Lightning Spire to Ice Trap because I have to press less things. But even yesterday, I was watching Perry's stream, really great guy. And we started talking about Inquisitor traps. And I'm like, yeah, Inquisitor traps are so underrated. It's so cool. I'm going to make an Inquisitor trapper. And I got it to like Act 5 or Act 6. And I'm like, Tarke, what are you doing? You already have a trap character that zooms through maps, demolishes bosses. It's amazing league mechanic. It's fully geared. Like, why aren't you just playing the build that you enjoy? I logged back on, doing some maps, absolutely loving it. The game has been rewarding me for it. I got another Trial Master this morning, which gave me an Exalt, a Divine, and some level 2 Enlightens and some other random stuff. I can't quite remember. I got a stacked deck, which then turned into the 5 Exalt div card. I got a new weapon, which is pretty nice. I'm hoping to get another high eye level Golden Chris. And then I'll throw a bunch of S's, try and upgrade this weapon. And I've just been having a lot of fun. And why have I been having fun? Because I just stopped for a minute. I forced myself to stop being a weird, neurotic little, like, and just be like, what do I actually want to do? I just want to play. I just want to be a raider. I want to throw some traps about. I tweaked my build a little bit to be less action heavy, so it's better for my hands, because RSI is a pain, literally. But yeah, I don't know. And let me know what your experience has been with optimizing the fun out of Path of Exile, if you're guilty of it, if your friends are guilty of it, if you've got any tips for avoiding that sort of problem. And yeah, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.